Sam woke before the sun, as he did most mornings, and stood at the kitchen window with a mug warming his hands. He cared for others, watering his neighbor's plants, lending his spare coat, always ready with a small smile. Still, his thoughts were quick and crowded, like a busy market he could not leave. Lists curled in his pockets, worries buzzed in his ears. Sam moved through the day doing good things, but he felt tired in a quiet way, as if his heart had walked too far. At work he answered questions with patience, but his mind jumped to the next task before the last was done. At lunch he ate fast, thinking of chores. Even when friends laughed, he watched them from the edge, afraid to slow down. Deep down, Sam wanted calm. He wondered if kindness could live beside worry, or if one must choose. That question sat soft and heavy, waiting for an answer he could almost feel. Sam walked down Maple Lane, where houses sat close and gardens breathed with flowers. Morning light spilled on a bakery's sign, and the bell over the door chimed as Mrs. Carter, the baker, carried warm bread out. A cat stretched on a fence. Children rode bicycles in smooth circles, their laughter soft like bells. The river at the town's edge moved slow and steady, sending gentle ripples over stones. Birds named the day in quiet songs. The town clock ticked in easy time. Neighbors greeted one another with small waves and slow steps. Even the wind seemed to pause to listen. The place felt calm on the surface, as if someone had smoothed the world with a large, gentle hand. But inside Sam, thoughts kept racing. He noticed the peace around him and felt a strange distance, like being in a noisy room while everyone else sat in silence. The town's quiet showed him how loud his mind had become. That morning felt different. Sam woke to a drum of worry in his chest, and the clock's hands moving too fast. He spilled coffee on his shirt, walked out without his keys, and could not remember if he had fed the cat. Each small mistake spun into a list of more things to fix. His mind raced with past errors and future tasks until it felt like a storm inside his head. At work, his inbox glowed with questions. He read one message 3 times and still missed the main point. He tried to smile, but his words came out thin. Lunch felt like a blur. He forgot to taste his food. Outside, the town moved gently, but Sam felt trapped in noise he could not calm. When a neighbor waved, Sam wanted to wave back, but could not decide which hand to use. The day stretched long, and Sam wondered how much longer he could carry the hurry inside him. As Sam crossed the small square after work, he nearly bumped into Mrs. Lee, who was planting bright marigolds by her porch. Her hair was silver like the moon, and her hands moved slow and sure. She looked up and saw the tight lines around Sam's eyes. Without asking, she set down her trowel and offered a steady, warm smile. "Long day?" she asked, voice soft as a wool scarf. Sam forced a laugh and shook his head, but Mrs. Lee did not let him hide. She stepped closer and handed him a small cup of chamomile tea she had warmed. The smell was gentle and simple. Neighbors paused, sensing a quiet moment. Mrs. Lee's eyes were kind but clear, like someone who had seen many storms and kept her calm. "You look like your thoughts are running away," she said. "Come sit, let the town slow you if only for a while." Sam felt a tiny part of his hurry ease at her calm. He followed her to the porch steps. Mrs. Lee wrapped her hands around the warm cup and smiled like she was opening a small gift. "When I was younger," she began, "I lived by a pond. It was not loud or big, just a round mirror of water near the old willow tree." She spoke slowly, like the pond itself, and Sam felt the words settle. "Some days my mind would race too," she said. "I would hurry from chore to chore and not taste my supper. One morning, I walked to the pond and sat on a flat stone. I watched the water. Little ripples came and went. A frog hopped. The wind moved the willow. I tried a slow breath, in and out, and noticed the ripples match my breathing. When I breathed slowly, the water calmed. When I rushed, the ripples returned." Quote. Mrs. Lee looked at Sam with soft eyes. "The pond taught me to breathe like the world, slow and steady. It does not fix all storms, but it teaches a quiet I can carry." Sam felt that quiet stir inside him. Sam blinked and leaned forward. "How can a pond teach peace?" he asked, voice a small question. Mrs. Lee laughed softly. "It is not the pond itself," she said. "It is what you do when you sit and watch." She pointed with a careful finger toward the river beyond the square. "Water shows us how things move. When you breathe like the water, your thoughts can slow." Quote, Sam frowned. He wanted proof, not a story. "Does it work for everyone?" he asked. "Not at once," Mrs. Lee answered. "It is like learning to walk. At first it feels strange. Then it grows easy." She handed him the empty cup. "Come tomorrow. I will show you where the pond sits and what to do. No magic, only practice." Quote. Sam felt both nervous and hopeful. He said nothing for a moment, thinking of ripples and slow breaths. Finally he nodded, agreeing to try, because the idea of a simple step felt lighter than his long lists. Sam woke with the sun and dressed slowly, remembering Mrs. Lee's invitation. He met her at the corner where the morning smelled like bread and wet earth. Mrs. Lee carried a small jar of tea and a folded blanket. They began down the narrow path that led out of town, past the old mill and through a line of trees that whispered as they walked. The air felt cool and honest. Mrs. Lee walked with steady steps and did not hurry him. She pointed out small things, a spider's web catching light, a frog hiding in the reeds, the way the path curved like a quiet question. Sam noticed how his breath matched the soft rhythm of his feet. When they reached the pond, Mrs. Lee spread the blanket and invited Sam to sit. "We will walk slowly, and then sit," she said. "No rush. Just notice one thing at a time." Sam felt his chest loosen a little. He nodded and took the next small, brave step. They walked quietly, letting their shoes fall soft on the leaf-strewn path. Leaves sighed underfoot, a slow and gentle sound, as if the earth were breathing. Small birds hopped from branch to branch, pecking at bright seeds and singing short, cheerful notes. Every now and then a robin would call, and the sound felt like a small, friendly bell. Sunlight slipped through the trees in thin coins, warming patches of ground. A cool breeze moved the leaves and brought the smell of damp soil and wildflowers. Mrs. Lee walked with steady, even steps, and Sam matched his pace to hers. He listened to the tiny sounds, the tip-tap of a twig, the soft rustle of a squirrel, the hush of their own breathing. Their footsteps did not hurry. Each step was simple and careful, like counting. The walk felt like a slow promise. By the time they reached the pond, Sam noticed how the small sounds had eased the tightness in his chest. He breathed in more slowly, and the world seemed kinder for a moment. They sat on the blanket at the pond's edge. The water was smooth like glass, with tiny ripples from a breeze. Mrs. Lee pointed to the ripples and said, "Watch them, breathe with them." She showed Sam how to sit straight but relaxed. "Place your hands on your knees. Close your eyes if you like," she said. Then she breathed in slowly and breathed out slowly. Sam copied her. He counted in his head, 1, 2, 3. Then let the air go out. Mrs. Lee spoke softly. "If a thought comes, notice it like a cloud. Let it float by. Return to the breath." When Sam's mind jumped, she did not scold. She smiled and guided him back to the water and the sound of his breathing. At first, Sam felt awkward. His chest loosened a little with each slow breath. The ripples matched his breathing, and for a small while his thoughts felt quieter. He kept breathing and watched the pond. Sam watched the ripples move across the pond. At first his mind was busy. A memory of spilled coffee floated up. A worry about the cat popped like a small wave. A thought about a call he must make drifted by. Each thought arrived and then slid away, like tiny rings on the water. Mrs. Lee spoke softly. "See them and let them go," she said. "Do not grab them." Sam tried. When a thought came, he named it quietly. Coffee, keys, work, and then he let it pass. He felt silly at first. The thoughts still came, but they did not pull him under. He matched his breath to the slow ripples. In for 3, out for 3. His shoulders eased. The sun warmed his hands. The pond did not make his worries vanish, but it taught him to watch them without chasing. Sam felt a calm small enough to hold. He kept breathing and watching the water. Mrs. Lee watched the pond and then looked at Sam. "Thoughts are like clouds," she said. "They come and go. You do not have to chase every cloud that passes. Sam frowned. But what if a cloud brings rain? He asked. She touched the tip of a leaf and smiled. Some clouds do bring rain, she said. We can carry an umbrella when we must. But many clouds simply move on. If you run after each one, you will be tired and wet. If you watch them from here, you can choose what matters. She showed him how to name a thought and let it float away, like saying, cloud, then watching it drift. When you practice, she added, you learn to notice without following. The storm can still come, but you do not have to be the storm. Sam listened. The idea felt simple and gentle. He breathed, named a thought, and let it go like a small cloud over the pond. After a while, Mrs. Lee folded her hands and said, peace grows from small habits. She told Sam about 3 simple things she used each day: walking, breathing, and listening to silence. Walk like this, she said, slow and steady. Feel your feet. Let your mind follow your steps. Sam tried, feeling the ground under his shoes. Breathe often, she added. Not long and fancy, just slow. Count to 3 in and 3 out. Do it when you wake, before you sleep, or when your chest tightens. Sam practiced once more. Count 1, 2, 3, and out. And listen, Mrs. Lee whispered. Listen to the quiet between sounds. It is like a small room where your thoughts can sit without running. She told him to find a moment each day to be still, even for a breath or two. Sam liked how simple it sounded. He could see doing these little things every day. They felt possible, and for the first time he thought calm might grow from small steps. That evening, Sam sat on his couch and tried the breathing exercise Mrs. Lee taught him. He put his hands on his knees, sat up straight, and counted softly. 1, 2, 3, breathing in, then 1, 2, 3, breathing out. At first his mind kept hopping to his to-do list, but he brought his attention back each time, gentle and patient. After a few rounds, Sam felt his shoulders drop a little. The tight knot in his chest loosened like string being unwound. His breathing became easier, not perfect, but calmer. He noticed small things he had missed all day. The warm light on the floor, the quiet hum of the refrigerator, the slow tick of the clock. These small things felt steady and kind. Sam smiled, a tiny smile to himself. The change was small, but it felt real. He thought, maybe this is the start. He promised to try the practice again tomorrow. Mrs. Lee set her cup down and looked at Sam. Once I lost my calm, she said. Years ago, my sister was sick, and I ran here and there, trying to fix everything. I shouted at the phone and forgot to eat. My hands trembled. I felt like a wind inside my chest. Sam listened, quiet and wide-eyed. One morning, I walked to the pond with no plan, Mrs. Lee continued. I sat on the same flat stone and let the air fill my lungs. I breathed slow. 1, 2, 3. I watched a dragonfly land, then fly away. I felt the tight place in my chest loosen. Not all at once, but little by little. I still worried, but I stopped chasing every thought. She smiled softly. I learned to use small things, breath, a step, a pause, when the world rushed me. It does not make hard things disappear, but it helped me find my calm again. Sam felt hope stir inside him. One afternoon, while Sam washed dishes, he dropped a plate and it cracked. His first thought was sharp and loud. You are so clumsy. He felt the old rush of shame and worry. Mrs. Lee, who had come by for tea, saw him freeze and put a hand on his shoulder. Say something kind, she said gently. What would you say to a friend who dropped a plate? Sam blinked. He tried, and his voice sounded soft. It's okay. Accidents happen. Mrs. Lee smiled. Good. Now try saying it to yourself. Sam looked at the broken plate and said, I am okay. I will fix what I can. The words felt odd, but warm. Like a blanket. Each time he made a small mistake after that, he practiced the same gentle talk. Calm, short phrases. That's fine. Breathe. Try again. The harsh rush in his chest eased a bit. Sam learned that being kind to himself did not ignore problems. It simply made them easier to meet. He felt braver and calmer when the day threw him small troubles. They walked back through the town and stopped to watch small, gentle things. At the bakery, Mrs. Carter hummed as she kneaded dough, her hands moving with soft rhythm. The tune was small but steady, and the warm smell of bread felt like a quiet blanket. Near the square, a child sat on the curb drawing with chalk. He drew a slow circle again and again, focused and calm. Sam noticed how the child's brow relaxed when he drew, not rushing the lines. Mrs. Lee pointed to Mr. Ramos on his bench, trimming roses with careful, patient cuts. A fisherman by the river sat very still, waiting without worry. Inside the little library, Miss Patel read aloud in a low voice, and the listeners leaned in like a hush. Each small act looked simple, but together they made the town feel steady. Sam felt the calm these habits gave others and thought, maybe I can make small peace like this too. After that day, Sam began to notice small pockets of peace all around him. On his walk to work, he watched morning light make dust float like tiny stars. He heard the mail carrier whistle a soft tune, and felt his shoulders drop without thinking. At his desk, he paused for one slow breath before opening emails and found he could answer more clearly. He started keeping a tiny notebook where he wrote one peaceful thing each day. The way steam rose from his tea, a child's laugh, a quiet minute before sleep. These notes felt like small gifts. When worry came, he read them and remembered calm was possible. Sam felt hope growing quietly, like a plant. It did not solve every problem, but it made him braver. He believed that small, steady steps could change his days. A week later, Sam woke to an urgent message from work. A project had a big mistake, and his boss wanted answers by noon. His stomach tightened. Old thoughts rushed back. What if I fail? What if they blame me? Like a wind that would not stop. At his desk, numbers blurred. He touched his notebook, felt the pages, and remembered Mrs. Lee's words. For a moment he tried a slow breath, but then the phone rang, and a coworker asked a sharp question. Sam's calm slipped. He snapped at the printer by accident and felt shame flood his face. All afternoon the day felt heavy. He tried to read his list, and every item looked taller than him. The peaceful moments he had gathered felt small and far away. Sam felt tired and afraid, and the old hurry filled his chest. Sam sat at his desk with his hands flat on the table and felt the rush in his chest. He closed his eyes for a moment and remembered the pond, the slow ripples, Mrs. Lee's voice, the way his breath matched the water. He whispered 1, 2, 3, and breathed in, then out. Instead of trying to fix everything at once, Sam chose one small thing to do. He stood up, walked to the window, and opened it. The cool air touched his face, and the sound of the street reached him like a soft bell. He breathed with the breeze, and felt the tight knot loosen a little. Then he picked one small task from his list, replied to the single most important message, and focused only on that. He worked slowly, and spoke kindly to himself when his mind wandered. The small steps did not erase the problem, but they made his hands steady and his mind clearer. He kept breathing and kept going. Weeks passed, and Sam kept trying the small things. Each morning he sat for 3 slow breaths before getting out of bed. He walked to work a little slower, feeling his feet on the ground. At lunch he stepped outside for a quiet minute and listened to the air. He used his notebook every evening, writing one kind thing he had seen or done. When a mistake came, he spoke gently to himself and tried again. The habits fit into his day like small stones in a path. Some days he forgot. Some days he rushed. But most days he chose one steady step. At work he found he could focus longer. He made fewer rushed replies and stopped worrying about every small thing. His friends noticed he smiled more softly. The calm did not arrive all at once, but it grew. Sam felt more steady, like someone who had learned to walk across a bridge one careful step at a time. He kept going, hopeful and patient. People began to say Sam seemed different. His sister hugged him and asked, "What are you doing? You look peaceful." At the neighborhood cafe, Mr. Carter paused mid-sentence and said, "You smile more these days. How come?" Even his coworker Maya, who was always in a hurry, noticed and asked for a quick chat. Sam felt a little shy but happy. He told his sister about the pond and Mrs. Lee's simple steps, breathing, walking, and a small notebook. He showed Maya how he counted 1, 2, 3 when he felt tight. At first it felt strange to share, but the words came easily. His family tried a short breath together that evening, and Maya promised to write one calm thing each day. Hearing others try the steps made Sam proud. He realized his small habits could help more than just him. He walked to the pond one quiet morning, the path familiar beneath his feet. He saw dragonflies dance, and the willow's branches touched the water like soft fingers. The pond looked the same, but Sam felt different. He sat on the flat stone and breathed in slowly, then out, just as he had learned. A small smile found his face. He remembered the first hurried days, the spilled coffee, the tight chest. He also remembered Mrs. Lee's cup of tea, the walks, and the tiny notebook pages filled with calm. He felt thankful for the small steps that had helped him. A gentle breeze moved the ripples, and Sam watched them without chasing his thoughts. When a worry came, he named it and let it float away. The quiet inside him stayed longer than before. He felt steady and kind toward himself. Sam stayed until the sun warmed his shoulders. He rose, thanked the pond in his heart, and walked home with a peaceful mind. Sam walked home with the sun low and warm. He felt the quiet inside him like a small light. That light had grown from tiny things, slow breaths, soft steps, and kind words to himself. He had learned from a friend, and shared what he learned with others. Now when he met a neighbor who seemed worried, he showed them how to breathe. He gave his sister a little card with 3 words: breathe, notice, be kind. People tried the steps and found small calm in their days. The town felt softer, one small act at a time. Peace did not come all at once. It grew like a plant that needs water and time. Anyone can start with one small step. A short breath, a gentle word, a quiet walk. These are seeds. Plant them each day. Over time, they can grow into a peaceful mind that helps you meet hard days with more care.